if I ever see Carrie Underwood. I feel like
Yeah.
if I see like is that the chick that had her ass out with the at the Laker game? You're not wrong, but I don't know. This is probably his opinion though. But you're not wrong because I don't think you're wrong about that. But I'm just saying when I first think of Lizzo, I think of her big ass twerking or her at the Laker game and shit. Yeah. Okay. Any last words before we move on to our next topic?
Nope. Keep your pants on, Lizzo.
Okay. On this platform, we always talk about tangibles and all that other stuff, what we want from Joe Biden and all that. Now, it's one thing we talk about tangibles, and which is really good. But I always like, what tangibles do you think we should be giving to Joe Biden? It's one thing that he has his own stuff for Black people, but I feel like we should be also giving him our demands as well. As just because, like we would like to see shit done in the community to help the Black community, especially since we done it basically gave that man life in his whole presidential run. So, Father, I ask you this: like we always talk about tangibles. What type of tangibles would like to see Joe Biden deliver on?
So I just want to preface this by saying that I am not an American descendant or slaves or a foundational Black American. Shout out to Tariq Nasheed. I am, of Ghanaian heritage. So me personally, I wouldn't be really benefiting from it, even though I low key would because I'm a Black man in America. So if it does help Black Americans specifically out, I'm still benefiting because that's the people who I'm mostly associated with. Now, with that being said, I think the three things that Black America needs from like any candidate or like anyone who's serious about getting the Black vote is number one, uh, Black Americans need more access to wealth. They need a way to get money that white people are entitled to getting, that white people have gotten since the GI Bill was selectively inclusive to them and not Black people of that time when it was introduced. And I feel like a lot of that could be tied into reparations, which I believe that would really help Black people out, in this time especially. So a more easy accessible way to access uh, to wealth in terms of the Black community as a whole. It would open up more businesses, which would be, and small businesses are of course the lifeblood of the Black community. It would incentivize more people who to go to college, or it can also incentivize people to invest in Black businesses so the money stays within our community so we can really build our institutions and shit like that. So that's number one. Number two, we need an entire overhaul of the police system and the justice system and all that, because the way it is designed, it is a literal execution chamber for Black people. It is no different than the gas chambers that was used in the Holocaust for Jewish people. So what really needs to happen is they need to reform the way police conduct their business in these neighborhoods, and they also need to really look at the bias and just how many people, and especially how many white supremacists have infiltrated law enforcement and the whole justice system in general. They need to look at all of that. They need to conduct a super, 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 what's it called? It needs to be a very, very deep investigation on the criminal justice system and how many Black men have been locked up for the same crimes as white men, and it's been more severe. They need to look at all of that. They need to stop over policing our children in schools because as you all know, when you went to school, the kids who was mostly getting in trouble for very little was Black kids. You know what I'm saying? So it just needs a total overhaul, and I believe that that's one of the main things that really needs to be done in America. So innocent Black people that don't really do nothing don't get shot and killed just because they just so happen to be Black, or they don't fit the description, and all these little vague ass terms that they be using to justify killing us. And number three, and I originally didn't think this was that big of a deal until recently. And I think number three is we also need a guaranteed effort on the government's part to make sure that black people can arm themselves and defend themselves without any bullshit happening to them. Because for far too long, black people have been locked up or have been killed for exercising their right to defend themselves. I know a lot of them white folks love to talk about that Second Amendment whenever people want to talk about taking away their guns. But when it comes to black people, they hella quiet. Philando Castile was a gun owner that had a gun in his that had a gun, near him when he was killed, but he wasn't allowed to defend himself because he was a black man. The just recently the sister that died, I think her name was Breonna Taylor, her boyfriend, her boyfriend is getting locked up or, is being charged with attempted murder, I believe, because he was trying to defend his woman as a black man should. And I really applaud that brother for trying to defend his woman, and they ended up killing her anyway. So not only does he have to live with the fact that his girlfriend has died because of police that got the fucking address wrong for the suspect that they was looking for, but now he's getting charged for a crime when all he wanted to do was protect himself and his girlfriend. So it's a really, really, really huge case of injustice, and black people should not be getting punished for exercising their right to protect themselves. So I think that's another thing that should really be a tangible effort on the government's part or whoever's part to ensure that black people don't get locked up or don't get penalized for exercising their rights, the rights that they fought for and the rights that they died for. Because people always seem to forget that this country is a country that's bathed in blood. Both slavery and genocide of black people is one of the founding fathers of this country. It's not no Mount Rushmore. It's not no Declaration of Independence, and it's not no Bill of Rights. It's first and foremost the blood and the sacrifice of black and indigenous peoples in America who did nothing wrong but were slaughtered because of this ambition by, the colonialists and, the pilgrims that wanted to conquer this land that was already inhabited by the natural people in the first place.
Tony?
I would put on top of what you said. Everything you said was just good ideas. I would just add the overhaul in the education system. As far as school budgeting and school curriculums that need to be learned, I will be added that on there. I feel that a lot of us as a black community need to learn stuff that we need to know at a younger age, or even in high school, just in school and period, just stuff we need to know that'll help us prepare for after we graduate. Like I told Jameson, I graduated from Anacostia, but when I joined the Navy, I didn't know what APR meant. Mean. I didn't know what it means. So, I kind of got like dicked on my car loan and wound up paying 22% interest rate.
Damn.
Cooking, because I didn't know nothing about it. Because a lot of people in my hood or my area, they didn't buy cars. They bought stuff from they bought old cars from auctions and stuff, or them old beat up little dealerships. You get cars for like $35,000. I didn't know nothing about that. I think you should know about APR. I think you need to know about interest rate. I think you need to know about car loans, interest loans, bank loans, money management skill where you can save money. At a young age, females cooking, basic mechanics, as far as, changing the tire, changing the oil, all the things that a lot of big companies make money off of us knowing that we don't know, and they'll guarantee get the money from us by that we don't know it at all. It starts in the school system, you know what I'm saying, in the neighborhood, like you saying, as far as the police too also. We need to get somewhere where we have people that was born in the city be police officers. I know a lot of DC, when DC was hiring at first, they had a tattoo regulation where you couldn't have certain tattoos so they wouldn't hire you, or you smoke weed, knowing you from DC. So it prohibits people from DC trying to be a cop. All the stuff that's going on. I think them two, as far as our community and schooling and education, better schools, it will be the things that will help.
Uh, damn. Like, but I think both of y'all said like some of the things that I really wanted to be done, especially the reparation thing, because I feel like right now I feel like we need to focus on like what can we pass down to our future generations and what can they hold down. So reparations will be a great thing. We get our money, we get the businesses, we can pass down businesses and wealth down to our youth, and also with the education, that's another thing. And I always, but to add on that, I would like to see trades on there. Like when I was in the Navy, I didn't know. Well, before the Navy, I didn't know a thing about pipe fitting and welding and all that other stuff. So not until I got into the Navy where I learned that. And then talking to some of the white counterparts, a lot of them that was HTs and all that, they was welding or like had machines like that in like high school and all that other stuff. So this, and then I'm realizing like when Tony was talking, did my school ever had a career day? I don't remember my school having a career day. Like,
Yeah, that's I never thought about that either.
like you see these in these white shows. Like, there's the things that in high school I expected from because I got them from white shows. I was hoping they doing in black shows, like how to dissect the frog. Even though I didn't like science, I wanted to dissect the frog. There was none of that. They had drive. Some of the schools had driver's ed. We had none of that. And I understand we ride the metro, but I felt like hell, like a driver's education class in high school. We should really have one of those. I don't remember them having that. Like I said, have no career day. Hell, I don't even remember them saying like bring your parents to work days, and they talk about their career and all that other stuff. Now there was I don't know about you, Father, but the only thing closest to that was like AI coming to our school talking about their school and all that other stuff. But other than that, I don't remember a lot of stuff like bringing to the schools. Like they purposely don't put that in the schools no more. Because if trust me when I said this, like as like when I was in the Navy, I enjoyed welding. Like now I know what type of wrench is which, what type of socket is what, and all that other stuff, and engineering shit. Or like you said, how to fix a car, how to change a tire, and all that other stuff. The cooking, home economics class. I just realized they took all that stuff out of school, and it's just like these are things that I feel like modern day things you really need to learn, and we don't. We,
Also, I think another good idea is knowing your rights when you get pulled over by the police. Is one of the is a lot of the things should be known in school. I think a lot of the stuff in a lot of the subjects and stuff, rather than learning about stuff that really ain't gonna happen, I think that the whole curriculum to be changed out as far as knowing the stuff you need to know that will really really help you. Knowing your rights, knowing your laws, knowing what you can and what you do. Knowing if you have gun rights or, like I said, get put by police, all these rules that affect you by day, what you could say in court. I mean, like you said, like you see in these white schools, they be having mock trials as a lawyer and they'll have people, they give you a case and people play a lawyer and so on. We don't do stuff like that.
yeah, you're right. Because yeah, shit, I've been kind of thinking like, what did I learn in high school other than the the most I think I've ever learned in high school was like the age of consent, and that's when they was trying to teach law, but they really skimmed through on that. And the only thing I ever learned out of high school was the age of consent in Maryland, which is